Family and friends, welcome back to yet another episode in the relationship series. In my humble opinion, your mother and father is the third in line for most important relationship in the universe. Grandparents, brothers, sisters, uncles, or any blood relationships also fall into this category. We call them relatives. These relationships are for life. They are bounded by God's creation and therefore can never be terminated. Relation of blood is a lifetime bond. Genes, physical, mental, and emotional characteristics are all shared between parents and their offspring that can be shared between all blood relatives. In the case of the adopted, these bonds are only superficially separated, but could never be undone maternally. Not even death can erase that fact. It is a literal physical connection and, as a result, indisputable. Step-parents or adoptive parents can only fill the emotional, financial, and educational gaps left due to separation. As a result, they can replace the relationship of said mother or father. However, the maternal fact will always remain and should always be respected. For example, even though a person's real father was a convicted murderer or rapist, and as a result was not part of the child's life, that does not make him less of his or her biological father. His wrongdoing is simply that, his. Now, the fact that he is missing in the child's life results in a lack of relationship with the child. The two aspects of relationship should never be misunderstood, as one is physical in nature and the other is entirely emotional. Not to mention that a person should always have a complete and clear understanding of their background. The emotional aspect is what dictates the relationship and ultimately the bond. So in this scenario, special attention to critical time spent with child is of utmost importance. However, this can happen at any time in a person's life. It is never too late for what I call lifetime relationships. It is, however, easier if imprinted from a younger age. Now, in a normal scenario, parents bond from before birth with their child, allowing them to become emotionally attached long before the child is attached. And at first, a child's attachment is of necessity: food, shelter, and comfort. They begin to truly bond with their parents when they start having coherent thought and speech processes and begin to develop the ancestral genealogical traits that they associate with their parents. It is at this point that the maternal and paternal relationship develops depth, and we begin to hold on to fond memories and develop and deepen love. These relationships are crucial for self-development and personal awareness. It is where the foundation for moral values begin. An abandoned child versus a nurtured child will have different perspectives on life initially. Left unguided or unloved will foster a child of resentment, hate, and hopelessness. The longer this exposure to neglect, the more difficult it is to redirect that child's mind. I do believe, however, that anyone can be brought back from the depths of self-pity with lots of love, dedication, and patience. However, finding that level of commitment, say after a child becomes a young adult, makes it more and more difficult as time progresses. This feeling of neglect and hopelessness will eventually spill into other relationships and eventually sabotage the success of those relationships. There will always be an unexplained reason for not getting it right, and then tethered to raw, incomplete emotions about not having closure. But here is the epidemic we all face in this generation. This is what's happening in a quote-unquote normal household. Parents become preoccupied with work and their passions, and they neglect their children. Becomes an unintended reality. Before it is realized, lots of time and moments to get the conversation right is hastily lost in yesterdays. What do? We try to make up, we try to compensate for lost time. We exchange more time for more money to buy our children's love, only to realize when it's too late that can never be enough. I can tell you from studying this problem for years now, there is no fix-all for it. It is the fabric of our current reality. We spend more time earning money than living off of it. It goes back to those fears I mentioned in episode 2. Those ideas of comfort for time. Think about it. We work on average 50 weeks out of a year to have only 2 weeks of vacation. In that time, we must forge lasting bonds with family members. In 18 years' time, the length of time that it takes from birth to graduation of the 12th grade, that equals to only 36 weeks of quote-unquote quality time with family. 36 weeks, not even a full year's worth. It's no different for those who work from home. As a matter of fact, you feel you are around family even more so. And as a result, you find reasons to justify being busy. Because now there's no alone time. No priority on time management and seeking balance for God, self, and family. So as a result, we're all left starving for life. It's a hard pill to swallow, I know, but do your own calculations. How much time do you spend working every day? How much time sleeping, eating, commuting, personal hygiene, exercising, communicating with God? How much family time is there left? Isn't it just 24 hours in a day? Then I haven't even mentioned how much time our electronic devices take away from it all. How much time is there left to express and receive love, to share, to give? Can we now see how precious every second is? That time you spend arguing with a loved one, yelling, fighting, is it worth the time lost? That hurt feeling, that the damage it causes to a relationship. Is there any time to remain angry or upset in this life? If we truly understand or understood this urgency, every living moment would be treated as our last. It's not like any one of us knows exactly when the moment that we're going to leave this life. Tomorrow is not promised to no one. How about those that abandon love for a parent or sibling over dispute or misunderstanding that neither side has the courage to resolve? Why? Why do we let something as small as pride rob us of precious life moments? I could never understand the logic in actively choosing to stay away from family because of a disagreement. I can understand criminal or physical abuse being the reason, but even then, to forgive is to be of God and His Word. We must remember the lesson, yes, but forgiveness is the only logical choice for true progress. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, and these are words that I live by, he said that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So you see, anything else is simply delaying the inevitable and robbing you of precious time that can be spent with family. You may have a day. You may have 100 years. However, those moments are infinitely precious and worth the constant effort of trying. Never mind being turned away or over and over. Rejection has a soft spot. It's called persistence. Weren't we taught as a kid that if at first you don't succeed, try, and try again? It's no different with matters of the heart, and especially worth it to save a relationship with a relative. Too often we wait only to have regrets. No one wants to say they should have or could have when a loved one dies. It's a choice that is simply not worth the emotional trauma. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's never too late. Your mother, father, brother, sister, aunts, and uncles, grandparents, and anyone who's considered a biological relative will always be. They will always be a relative. If you're upset with them for whatever reason, forgive them now and move on. Life is simply too short. Be the first to call, or first to visit, or first to write. You do it for your soul and pray that theirs will come around as well. Leave the judging to God. Learn from the lessons of whatever dispute you may have had, but don't forsake or curse or disown or banish. Treat them with the same love and respect that you would like to receive. When you raise the bar of love, everyone around you will attempt to at least meet you there. If they have issues, pray for them. Don't complain. If they are unable, unwilling, uncooperative, offer help and solutions, not criticism and gossip. Do what you can with what you can. Remember, what you put into a relationship is what you should at least expect in return. If future issues arise, be the first to offer a solution, not to be confused with a lecture. A solution. Again, remember how precious time is, and we simply cannot afford to be spending arguing. Rule of thumb for me when it comes to money is that I simply will not lend more than I can afford to lose. If you don't have it to give, you simply don't give. You don't go to take out a loan or borrow from a loan shark to lend family or anyone for that matter, unless you are prepared to lose it all. That's 90% of all family disputes right there. Most are generated by some fear, mistrust, or simply poor judgment. However, all disputes can be solved with a little bit of compromise and a whole lot of love. Lead with love first for your relative in the way that you would like to be treated. Encourage a good time every chance you get. I'm a firm believer that there can never be too many get-togethers in life. There's a TV drama series called Blue Bloods that portrays a very busy inner-city family who all happen to be in different facets of law enforcement. Very busy. No matter their schedule, they always meet for family dinner on Sundays. It's a beautiful solution for how a busy family can operate. Because in that moment, they have the biggest heart-to-heart on everything from A to Z. It's like Thanksgiving dinner every Sunday. Wonderful practice for families that live close by. However, it's 2019. We don't have to be there physically with the advent of technology now. We can FaceTime, Skype. We have WhatsApp, Messenger, to name a few, all giving us the ability to see and hear each other in ways that have never been done before. Make it a daily call or a weekly FaceTime. Get together on Skype once a month. Send each other video chats. The possibilities are endless. And at the same time, we must recognize how much time our devices are taking away from us, simply communicating with each other verbally. When it's family time and we are not FaceTiming for said purpose, our devices needs to be put away to allow for that very crucial interaction that is needed for personal growth, development, love, and memories. I know, difficult to do in this now instant information age. I'm speaking from first-hand experience. It's something that if left unchecked, will rob you of all your spare time and then some. If there's a will, there's a way. For example, I downloaded an app that tracks how much times I pick up my phone, how long it's in my hand, and what apps I'm spending the most time on. It has helped me tremendously, as I am now aware of what I am doing with that time. The topic all on its own, which I promise you I will get into on one of my episodes. With that said, remember this. You are unique in a very special way. We've discussed this in detail in our last episode. Every last one of your family members, believe it or not, are that special as well. Combined, you represent years of heritage and culture, space and time that is just as unique in this universe. So through good times and bad, love and laughter, tears and song, a family should always be united so that future generations can have a legacy of peace, prosperity, and love, to gain advice and aspire to hope for even better days. Stay tuned for my next episode, Consensual Relationships and Marriage. Until then, may you have a meaningful and purposeful week. God bless.